And then usually there's like a way too early King of the Hill, so it's not actually last, but tune in to see what happens.
You don't sound like Mr. Pacer.
You never know.
Very disappointed.
Well, maybe he thinks it's because the Pacers are about to win three straight.
Yeah, the winner of Game 3 wins the series 80% of the time.
Yeah. We good to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Let's do it.
All right, so same thing where these two teams, 21 guys make it, and good projection by King of the Hill that these two teams would be going 10 or 11 deep in actual time that mattered in these playoffs, as these are some of the deeper teams. Bottom row, not a lot of changes, so we can go through it quickly. Ben Shepherd, Jay Will, Thomas Bryant, Isaiah Joe. TJ McConnell had to drop a bit. His little pesky nature has not been quite as effective this series. And then Tony Bradley's there. Now to the 15 guys who are really having an impact on the series. Listen, we moved up Aaron Wiggins, if we show the next row, deservedly so. You maybe could have moved him up higher. It would have felt a little too strong, but he's played well. Nembhard has not been able to even slightly bother SGA. And that's
Game 1, he was his offense.
Yeah, his offense was, but it feels to me like they're part of the Pacers' path was Nembhard could just keep SGA to season average.
Make it
make him work, make it hard. He hasn't been able to. Neesmith, Mathurin, and Obi Toppin all stay where they were. Fourth row, now to the top 10 guys. This is one of the reasons I think the Thunder are in such firm control. Chet was much better in Game 2 than he was in Game 1, but he still hasn't been awesome. And they dominated Game 2. Miles Turner, I think, needs, if they have any chance of us doing another King of the Hill, of it not being 5 or 4-1 OKC, Miles Turner is going to be green and a level up because he's going to have to be awesome. Okay. And Cason Wallace has responded to his coach's faith with, I think, excellent results. I know they lost the first game that he played, but they caused 19 first-half turnovers. He has absolutely and unequivocally been part of the trio that has been bothering Tyrese Halliburton, so he moves up. And Hartenstein, I think, has been fine. He hasn't gotten the minutes that I thought he would get in this, but clearly Daigneault felt that the double big lineup is something Indiana would try to exploit, so he has stayed away from that, and that has cost Hartenstein some minutes. We moved up Alex Caruso, not just because he's one of, and this is kind of crazy, 2 people in this series to score 20 points in a game. It's him and Shai. They're the only 2 to do it, but because he and alongside Dort, their perimeter defense has been so disruptive. Now, I understand Pacers folks being like, well, yeah, because they foul every play. It's an effective approach, which is we are going to immediately play this level of defense and see. We're going to see if the refs in the NBA Finals in the first 90 seconds are going to call 3 fouls. If not, we have set the tone, and I know Caruso's not starting the game, so you guys, we are going to set the tone, Dort and then Caruso coming in, and see if you guys can meet it. Pascal Siakam has to drop. It just hasn't been as efficient. He had the one little stretch during the 10-0 Pacers run in Game 2 where he hit 3 straight baskets, but that was really all he did for the game. And then at the top, or near the top, I should say, J-Dub, despite being 11 of 33 in the series, has been, in my eyes, the second best player on Oklahoma City. And Halliburton's a tough one because he has not played well in either game. But he hit a buzzer beater, essentially, to win Game 1, so dropping him felt crazy. Obviously, I'm not moving him up. And then at the very top, he scored 68 points through his first 2 career finals games. That is 3rd most all-time. Did you show us yesterday?
No,
number 1.
Most.
Oh, it's the most all-time. Oh, my apologies.
Players first.
So he's the
70.
Oh,
71.
70. Okay, so what? My apologies. 68 would have been was 3rd all-time, but it's not what he had. Regardless, point remains. He's scoring 35 plus a game in the finals. He's been excellent, and he's been. It's weird because he's like the 4th or 5th best defender on the Thunder, but it's still very good defense.
Good defender.
Right.
In fact, to your point about his defense, well, I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
It's fine, the Hill. I couldn't argue just moving Halliburton and Jalen. Because I think it's left to right. It's left. It's not. I know you say that, but it's always left to right.
It's left to Rich Tapestry.
Jalen is shooting 33% from overall from the field, 22% from three. All right, I know he's playing aggressive defense. They all are, of course, for the Thunder. So he's 6 for 19 game 1, 5 for 14 game 2. I'm thinking as much as Halliburton has been passive, he did hit the game winner that gave him home court advantage and has this thing knotted at 1 apiece. And they're +7 when he's on the floor. Think about that. They have not led. They have rarely led in this series, and they're +7 when he's on the floor, -22 when he's off it. But I'm just saying, I think you could flip him and Jalen. But this is my big takeaway, or my big addition.
Oh, that's just a preamp.
SGA has been so great.
Oh, you're going to do it.
And the other guys, everybody else has been, less than great by far. Yeah, I want a vacant. I want a vacant between SGA and everybody else. Maybe 2. Maybe 2 vacants. But he has been 2 levels of vacants. Because as I mentioned, Jalen's been struggling. Chet was not good in game 1. Now, the role players, Dort, Caruso, Wiggins, they've stepped up. But among the top players, Siakam, Halliburton, Jalen, Chet, among the top players, SGA is the only one really giving you what you expect from him. And he's giving you a little more. In fact, this one surprised me. And this goes all the way back to 1983. We can't go back before that.
Yeah.
But since 1983, if he keeps it up, it's only 2 games. We'll see if he can do that. He's averaging 36, 5, and 5. He would become the only player ever, if he keeps this up, to go 35 and with 3 or more steals, 35 points at least, and 3 or more steals in an NBA Finals. He'd be the first player ever since 1983.
To do that in each game? To average it.
He'd be the first player to average 35 points and 3 steals at least in the NBA Finals. You're not impressed? It shows
3
both
steals
sides.
just seems like it's out of nowhere.
3 steals is a lot, though.
Well, I know, but it's just...
There's only been a handful of guys that have ever averaged that 4 steals.
I just don't get fired about steals.
Really?
Well, tell that to Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year award.
Real talk?
I'm actually surprised, to be totally candid, that Jordan didn't do it. Because Jordan averaged 35 in multiple finals. So that is, Brew,
that's why
unlike
that's
Wildes,
Can I, before
you're impressed by that.
I have one thing, something or nothing about SGA.
Yeah.
Because I had the hot take. I have the hottest football takes in all of America. Yeah, when I said guard Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah.
And people refused to do it.
Yeah.
It was two out of the box. I'm like Steve Jobs over here, dude. Game 3 in Minnesota. Thunder got rolled. SGA had scored 31, scored 38, then he scored 14 in Game 3. Game 3 in Denver. Thunder got rolled. SGA had scored 33, 34, and 18. So both have his last Game 3s, he scored in the teens, and they didn't actually get rolled in Denver, they went to overtime. But he had 14 and 18 in Game 3. Do you think that SGA is at risk of a kind of off-kilter Game 3 that really depresses everything?
I mean, 20, low 20s, but poor shooting. That's really what you're looking for, even if he gets his points. But certainly, I mean, we know how good Rick Carlisle is defensively, and he's just coming off 2 huge games, particularly last Game 2. So yeah, I think I would not be shocked. Now, look, I do think OKC is going to win, so I expect him to play well. But I don't think he's going to score 30 in every game. I think one of those games is coming.
I tend to agree. What I think it would be more likely that was coming, Wildes. And I know they weren't in this situation in all your examples, but if they were up 2-0.
Yeah.
This
is still a huge game. Game 3 is huge.
It is just so hard if you're up 2-0 and the other team is going home and you don't feel like you got lucky, you feel like we're better than them, to not lose a measure of focus in that Game 3. This is a different situation. where OKC goes into game 3 like, this is our chance to make up for what happened in game 1, to retake control of this series. And so I think Shai will be really good.
The only reason I think that he's going to have an off-kilter game, when Rick Carlisle, and you guys took it at face value, and I didn't take it at face value, when he was like, pencil that guy in for 34 points, nothing we can do. I was like, oh,
I agree with you.
Hit my antennas, like, oh, maybe Carlisle has got something up his sleeve, and that was a little bit of gamesmanship.
Well, I don't think it would be a bad idea. Here's the real quick before you go.
No, I think this is going to be my thing.
Oh, okay.
I had another thing, but I was like, this is more interesting.
The Pacers were in a weird spot after game 1, in my opinion, Brew, because I just think objectively it would have been irrational for them to look at how they played in game 1 and just be like, all right, boys, let's run that back, and we'll, you know what I mean, we'll be in good shape. But when you're a huge dog and you win game 1, it also would feel irrational to be like, got to change a bunch of stuff up. I think because they lost game 2 in the way they did, that then allows them to make major adjustments. And the major adjustment I would make for game 3 is we are treating Shai the way the Raptors treated Steph after Durant and Clay got hurt, which is anyone but you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I would do.
Right. Yeah. And so, and again, that you'll probably lose that way. Like, the Thunder have good enough other players and they're a smart enough team. But let's see if for any of these guys, except for Caruso, first career road finals game, if they understand after 5 minutes, oh wait, the other team's plan is to let me shoot. You know what I mean? How they respond to that. And so, because Shai is, you've got to disrupt Shai's rhythm. So you know what I mean? If I were Carlisle, that would be, I would go away from some of my prior defensive principles too. You know what I mean? We are going to let J-Dub have a bunch of shots. Nothing against him. Let Chet have a bunch of shots.
But you also can pack in the paint, you know, and try to keep him from getting his shots in the mid-range.
Yeah.
And try to force him and the others to shoot a bunch of threes. That's what they're doing to Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay. Pacers win game 3, bro? A little bit.
I think they win game 4. 2-2.
Game 4. Well, that would be great.
That would be
2-2 would be awesome.
Okay.
2-2 would be a real finals. That would be awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.